as you can see, my lovely friend has morphed into a different friend. Forgot to fix the name. This is not Peter.
No, as you can see, Marin, I'm not Peter, unfortunately.
He's channeling the spirit of Peter in joining me to cast the next game, which is already underway as we take it to our friends Jesper and Erika. We have Erika bringing Zen out, Jesper bringing Viserai out. Game is already a little bit underway. It looks like life lead for Jesper.
But I think names are flipped at this point because Erika is our Viserai player and Jesper is our Zen player.
You are correct. Yes, this is a problem that we've had with our cameras for a little bit. So yes, so it is. Well, they are still both 3-0, so at least we are good in that regard. But the names are the other way around. So we have Jesper on the right as our Zen player and Erika on the left as our Viserai player. We will get that fixed later. But let's see. It looks like Zen has built himself a long attack chain, starting with levels leading into several tigers.
And if I'm not mistaken, it seems like Erika has built up quite a life lead. She's at 33, I think, and Jesper is at 23. And while she has been building up that life lead, she also has 2 Malefic Incantations and starts her turn by sending 1 over with 2 rune chants in front and a snuff out.
Yes, and since that Malefic Incantation that she has up, that means that if a Zen player chooses to let this hit, she can opt to destroy the Malefic that only has 1 counter left on it to force a discard.
Yes. And since Jesper took the rune chant damage, there is also the opportunity for some boots shenanigans by Erika.
Looks like we're seeing not...
no, that's why she didn't have any cards in hand left. So that's why she don't.
But we are seeing the traverse, so we are seeing Zen looking to go for a power turn. We also see the Tiger's High Reflex, which I think on the fence gives you a Tiger's crouching tiger in your banish zone.
Exactly.
So we see that in combination with the traverse makes sense. So we have a Chi, we have a full grip, we have an arsenal even, I think, and the crouching tiger in the banish. So we are about to see a Zen that goes, well, I would say bananas, but that's not really the tiger way.
No, but it seems like at least Jesper found his hand good enough for some kind of go time. Mm-hmm. So let's see how much damage he can put together. Because I don't think he can't fall too behind in life totals because Viserai can set up, and once he's totally set up, there is no way Sen can pitch for enough rune chance to not die to it.
Exactly. So we see leading with the Kakara into the tiger just for 1. And opting to just take the damage so far. Trying to block efficiently, and blocking 2s or 1s with 3 blocks is generally not where you want to be then.
And decided to pick Chase the Tail as the Sen shard of choice. And it's like I must say this is one of the cards that I was more afraid of when Party Mistral came out because the rate is so good. And back then I didn't quite understand the potential of Sen as a hero. I just saw the cards and thought that wow, this is an insane rate on this card. So it's like a 1-4-7 at this point.
Yes, it's coming in for that far go again because of the preceding crouching tiger. So you already see 4 coming through. That most likely, if you just block with a normal 3 block, that means you're already leaking a little bit of damage, and you know there's more coming. And there it is.
Aspect of Tiger Red, creating another crouching tiger.
Interesting thing here is that Erika so far just completely refused to block, holding on to a full grip of her own. So she's kind of weathering the storm by taking it, but she might have something that's go time on her end as well.
Yeah, seems so.
Want to get that Zen down in the below 10 health.
And that's a very good chain ender. Because since Erika decided against blocking at all, it seems like she has 4 cards that she likes, but this Warmonger's Diplomacy tries to put a halt on that.
Exactly. So there was probably going to be something along the lines of Rune Chant Maker attack, Rune Chant Maker attack weapon or something like that, but now we are going to be limited to only making Rune Chants or only attacking.
Yep. And this is not the rate Viserai wants to have. So she's coming in with 2 rune chants and a measly 2 attack go again.
Exactly. Definitely not where you want to be. What is it? 4 damage of a 4-card hand?
Yeah. I don't know what she has got left in hand, but it's something. Oh. Jesper decides to pitch another Warmongers. Since we can't hear the players, but I'm pretty certain that he picked War, and that would mean he has no way of playing Warmongers anyway. So I can see why he decides to pitch it.
Mm-hmm.
Jesper decides to block with another non-attack action, getting those out of his hand.
We see turn just passing.
And have you noticed the life totals since we came into this game? I think when we got into it, Erika was at 33, I think, and Jesper was at 23.
Yes.
And the life totals are a lot closer at this point because Jesper decided to use his traverse, cashed it in for a Shi, put together a decent turn with a lot of tigers and combo cards, and ended the chain with a very good Warmongers.
He's definitely closed that gap a little bit, and now also threatening the arsenal with a command and conquer. So he's telling Erika, you need to block or you're going to lose your arsenal. On the flip side, Erika has not yet given up her face Purgatory. Perhaps a very important card if you want to prevent Zen from like eking out even more damage of that one card he might still have in hand.
Yes, and I think that I would imagine Command and Conquer is like pretty much the one card or one of the few cards that you can actually use Face Purgatory to its fullest potential to get you back a card. Because if you block with the Face Purgatory, an attack action and a non-attack action, that would make you will make it so that your opponent has to discard a card and you draw a card. So you get that card back, in a sense.
Exactly. We also see Tunica 3 for Erika as well. Also waiting to be used. She is taking a long time thinking about these blocks. She probably has a very interesting hand and something that might synergize with Arsenal, deciding whether or not she can afford to lose it, if she wants to keep this, how she wants to block, if she's going to.
I mean, she has been very restrictive with her armor blocks. She's only used the Grasp of the Arcanite once to block with. So she has a lot of points left on her equipment. And I imagine if she would have the nuts hand, she would probably use it more at this point. But it seems to me like she's thinking about blocking with cards instead.
Yes, it looks like we have a small malfunction on our hand cam, sadly, so I can't see exactly what's in there. But I do believe I saw one reduced to rune chant there earlier, which is kind of going to be dead weight with that Command and Conquer coming in.
I think she's thinking about, do I like this card as much? I might just have to let this go.
Definitely going through all the possible lines here. And there is definitely quite a bit of things that could happen with Viserai, because he can be so explosive and he can have these explosive turns. It's a bit of a puzzle where sometimes you can walk yourself through 2 lines that are completely different and end up with essentially the same damage total.
Absolutely. And have you guys had any Viserai on stream so far?
Not yet.
No, I mean like not exactly a crash course, but it's in general about Viserai, and he scales exponentially in the sense that the more cards he gets to keep, his damage output grows exponentially from that. So if Viserai has to start blocking stuff, his turn won't be as impressive as if he's managed to keep like a 5-card hand. He can have insane damage output. So that's why cards like Command and Conquer and any kind of disruption serves a great purpose against Viserai. because you probably won't be able to just trade damage. You have to disrupt in some way.
And that's also the difficulty here, because the position that Zen has put her Viserai in is that Viserai is going to have to give up a card somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to be either the arsenal or something from hand.
And she decides to block with one of her real power cards, the Mortar Tide. And I can see why she had to be thinking so much about using that card to block with, because you really want to make rune shots with it.
Exactly. But it could be that right now it just so happens that blocking with that leaves her with a hand that is otherwise going to be powerful. Let's see, we see a Runic Reckoning coming now.
Creating another rune chant. And sending a Arkham for 9, I think.
This is definitely still a good move on her part, at least.
Yeah,
Because definitely threatening that life total of Zen, and they are both getting to a low enough point now that they need to be quite careful with those. They don't really have health to throw away anymore. So we see a Wax On coming out there. Alright,
so he's taking 3 damage.
So a bit of a middle road decision from Zen. There are some blocks, but not giving the whole hand. Also not taking everything.
Well, I mean, I guess he's fine in a sense, because I would guess Sen's number are somewhat better with middle road hands. Sen, he loves to have go wide and have big hands, but it's not needed the same way that it is for Viserai. So if they would keep on trading, like attacking with 2 cards, blocking with 2 cards, I think Sen would be fine with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we also see him just come in, get blocked, and then come in with the Kakara again. Both players not thinking too much about that decision. And I think we're also starting to get to the point where that Zen state token that Zen is able to make may start playing a role. We're not seeing that many rune chants right now on Viserai's side, but that can change very quickly.
Absolutely, and I think Erike has played this matchup enough to know that you cannot build an insane amount of rune chance before you attack. You have to be somewhat annoying and use she also has great use, as we can see at this point. Using one of the sonatas, I'm not sure which one it is, but to find out.
I think that's a Sonata Arcanix, if I'm not mistaken.
Arcanix, Galaxia.
Galaxia.
So she gets to search a library for another aura.
Let's see what she's going to pull out here. Something that makes rune chance is my guess, but which one is it going to be?
Yeah. It seems like Erika's still in the think tank. Looks like she's picked a Malefic Incantation of the red variety.
Always a good one to get out. It allows her to keep swinging and making rune chants, and then swing with the rune chants and make more rune chants. It's kind of what you want to be doing in this situation.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how hard she's going to be swinging. I do see a Tiger Swipe, I think, in the hand for Zen.
Here comes a Rune Flash for 4. And in front of it there are 5 rune chants.
Exactly, so that is 9 damage, which is a very scary place to be for Zen, so he's going to have to give up some of that hand.
Preventing 3 rune chants, taking 2.
then the blocks.
Fucking with a tiger swipe. So one damage get through.
So we can take in a bit of a middle of the road solution. Zen opting here both this turn and the last one to just content to trade out a little bit, which is not the end of the world, but also a little bit scary if you look at the life totals. Zen is gonna get to that close to lethal range a little bit quicker than Viserai is if they keep trading.
Do you see what card Jesper has in hand? There is a Warmongers, right? Yeah, he has CNC and Warmongers in hand.
Exactly. I think he was trying to construct a turn with that, with the Warmongers always being so effective at shutting it down. But I think he's just hoping to throw the CNC now. The question is, because it does not look like Erika has any hand. Oh, she has that one card left.
Yeah, she's probably thinking about if she wants to play attack with Reaping. What's kind of Rune Blade? A Reaping Blade.
Exactly. So will that go in Arsenal or not? Because if it does, it may be bad news for her.
She decides to attack. I would imagine this would mean a block with the CNC. Nope. Okay. Jesper decides to prevent the rune chance and block with CNC.
Giving up his whole hand. So he has stemmed the bleeding quite a bit, but he is also giving Erika full field of play with a Malefic in play. No Arsenal for her at least, but still, that is a 4-card hand.
Yes, and Jesper is at 9. And he has a smaller fridge to go with the Kasaya and the Shuko blocking for 2 each. But I don't know. I don't think this is where Jesper wanted to be when he envisioned the rest of the game when they started this.
Yes, I think. Well, Ira is a bit of an exception, but generally, if you are a ninja and you are that far down on your opponent, I think that is never where you want to be.
Exactly. Well, turn start isn't as bad. Blue go again for 1. It's something. It's still a 9th of your life.
We see our players taking a long time to think about their turns now, because at this point, every point of damage matters for both players.
And it also makes all decisions. It's so much tougher to decide if do I get to keep any cards at all, and if I do, which ones would I like the most?
Exactly. We do see, I think, a sink. Is that a sink in the hand of our Zen player?
I think there's a sink and a wax off, question mark. Runebound Rager coming in for a 3 with go again. 1 rune chant in front. Just probably to take the rune chant. We're down to 7.
Oh, there is the succumb. It's always a card you have to watch out for.
Yes.
Never happy to see it.
And since Erika has done arcane damage, she can play this as an instant.
So it ends up sort of being an attack reaction.
Yeah.
Not quite.
But she does get an extra action point out of it. And that's something. Because the succumb has go again in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And another... What's it called? A rune-bound Rager?
Yes, that is going to make... I think... the attack of that is going to... Oh, yeah. I was thinking of the Malefic, but that has already triggered.
Yep. Rune Rager Swarm it is. I forgot about what its name was.
And we see one more card being given up. But still, Zen managing to hold on to 2 cards, which is once again pitch in a blue coming with the Kakara, trying to just eke in any point of damage he can, just to get Viserai low enough that he can go somewhere. Because at this point, Viserai is, as you said, it's explosive and exponential, so you're seeking to hold on to those 4 cards hand so that you can come with so much damage that Zen can no longer block it.
Mm.
We see a levels for 5. That is still 7 damage coming out of a
it's
2-card hand.
2 cards 7, it's something. And I think he only ended up taking 2 damage his last turn. But I would still imagine it, unless Erika has quite a brick hand, she has the life buffer to take a lot of damage if she likes what she's seeing in her hand. The question is how much can she put together, and how annoying can she be with a good mix of rune chants, arcane damage, and the ordinary attacks.
Exactly, and she has the Tunic at 2, so that will pick up the 3 on her turn. So she's going to have that resource available as well. And the Malefic as well to make a free rune chant on the back of any attack. There is certainly possibilities for her to end the game. Though then again, Zen does still have some armor left.
Yeah, Zen, he has a good amount of blue, but I mean, there has to be a couple of turn cycles when he's able to pay for the rune chants and also block the damage out. And there are a lot of breakpoints in Vista as well. I guess you can argue that the rune chants is like a breakpoint per se, but there's also a lot of 4s and 1s for that matter that are very annoying.
And we do see Erika hold on to those cards and attempt to strike back.
Yeah, and there's a Runic Reckoning, buffing your next rune blade attack for 3, creating a rune chant.
Looks like, Rika wants to just attack after that, but we had a brief pause for Jesper thinking about whether there was some sort of instant he wanted to play. So we see the, I think it's become the Arc Knight, I believe.
Amplified Arc Knight.
That's it. Coming in with just the 1 rune chant.
Yeah, so it's 1 + 9.
So a total of 10 damage. So Jesper is deciding what he is going to give here to not die.
And I mean, there are this can become a bigger and bigger issue. There are lower life total Zen gets. That he still has a lot of transcend cards, which are great at using Zen hero power, and they are great at paying for rune chats, but they're not as great with blocking, with the 0 blocking value. Oh, and he had 3 of them at his hand. Oh.
So he is. Is that game, or is he trying to fish for something?
Yeah, he can. When he's playing 2 of them, he can both transcend and get effect out of the sacred art. So he will get tigers, and he will banish a card.
I guess it's.
Do you remember what his arsenal is? I think he has Chase the Tail in arsenal.
I believe so as well. Yes.
So there is still the line where he can use the Kasaya, his chest piece. So he can, for example, he could take the rune chant and decide to block with the chest piece, and then before it breaks, he can activate it to prevent another damage, and then get a Sensei token. And I think that's what he has to be going for at this point.
Yes, but it's a tough one, because he is only on 7 health, and the attack itself is still coming from 9 as well.
Yeah. But this equipment piece blocks for 4, and with the Sense state that prevents another 1. So that would mean that he is taking 4 damage.
So we would go down to 3 health, but we did see him do the double transcend. He has 2 chi in hand. He's looking to try and fire back hard as well himself.
Yeah, and it will be alright, because he has tigers, and he has it looks like the red aspect of tiger in hand, and he has the Chasing Tail in arsenal. And he will get to find something from his library with Senna hero power. So this will be a good turn, actually. And since he has the Send State token, the Rune Chants won't do anything at all for the next 2 turns.
Exactly. So
I,
an elusive situation, because even though Zen might be on 2 health, he's still in a pretty decent position.
it seems he will present a lot of damage this turn. And
Exactly.
I would imagine Erika has to block a lot of it out. I don't think she can present enough breakpoints to get through the Send States and Jesper's eventual block. So there's a strong possibility that this will mean Jesper has 2 offensive turns in a row right now, because Erika won't be able to strike back as hard as she wanted to.
Exactly. And with Rika only being on 10 life herself, now 9 after the Kakura. So we finally see that Chase the Tail and Arsenal being used. Coming for 4 go again as well. And Rika at the same time is understanding how Zen works, knows that he's going to go wide, but also trying to keep on to her hand, because he is at 2 life, just a little bit of threat.
In that sense, it has to be so annoying. Because, if that stupid Send State weren't there, things would have been so much easier. If she only had to consider how much damage can I present. How do I survive this and present as much damage as possible? That would be one thing. But now everything is reduced by 1, and her Rune Chance does nothing for her next turn.
Exactly, and that makes it uncomfortable for her as well, because she could spend her next turn setting up.
Yep.
But then she's not pressuring Zen at all, and if you are on below 10 health and you're not pressuring a Zen, he is going to pressure you.
And Erika decides to block out the Chase the Tail, and there's an aspect of Tiger, making another Tiger, which will be coming in for 3 because of Chase the Tail. And Jesper decides to arsenal his last card, and that has to be a Tiger, right? Yeah, I think he had a Tiger left over from the Transcend on her last turn.
Could well be the case, yes.
And Erika decides to attack with a Snuff Out.
She did manage to keep a card, and just one single big swing, probably the best you can do in a situation like this, where there's a Zen State out. And
yeah, Rune Chance does nothing would mean that Jesper can block with a 1/3 block card and still survive, but it looks like he also has a Sink in hand. So together with the Send State, it would mean he would take no damage at all, leaving him still at healthy 2, while Eric is at 3.
it is indeed funny to be talking about the healthy
Yeah,
2.
healthy 2.
It is a healthier 2 than Erika's healthy 3 in this particular situation right now.
Huh? Why did she take 1? No, she?
No,
she
was
should.
on 3. I think there was just a little bit of confusion on the Zen State.
Yeah. This should be no damage. I don't know if Jesper is still considering if he wants to sink anything, or where we are in the game state right now.
It's either that, or he is simply like looking through his graveyard to see what cards he might still have available in the deck. Yeah, I think he might be thinking about the sink still, otherwise he would have cleaned that up. Yes, he's trying to really think through all the lines to see, like, if I put something away, what could I get back? Can I squeeze a single point of damage extra out of that 3-card hand plus the Tiger in Arsenal? Because this is going to be the turn. He has survived Rika's attack, and now he needs to kill. Or he needs to at least pressure her and take her hand, because if he cannot do that, he is down to 2 himself. The Zen State token will be gone. It is a dicey situation for him as well, so he needs to eke out every single last point of damage he possibly can. But it looks like we did not see a sink.
Yeah, he did sink, but it came a lot later than I would expect, because Erika already she took the time to pick up her card, put it in her graveyard, and draw 4 for a turn, and then the sink happened. But everything is fine. I mean, they are I'm sure they're very communicative about what they do. Um, Attacking with a tiger for 1.
Those tigers for 1 after the Kakara become so. It's almost like the Kodachi lock when
Yeah,
you hit 1 is
yeah.
not quite there, but
And there's a tiger swipe for 4. And with net Jesper another tiger on hit.
he has that chi left. He could find a card from his deck, but he would have to find a combo cost that's. Well, he has 1 floating, I think.
Yep.
Yes, and Erika is giving up her boots. She still has 2 cards left.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's trying to pitch one and attack with the other, maybe, but.
Do you think Jesper has any chase to tell left? I would imagine they are gone by now.
I think we saw definitely 1 earlier and definitely 1 last turn.
Okay. Dice against Mauling from Mauling Key. So he will attack with a tiger for 0 and then attack with a Mauling Key with an on hit of another arcane damage since the last card was a tiger.
And that on hit means that even
Yep.
letting 1 damage through is still that. So that is going to.
Yeah.
No, he's opting not to.
Just going for 5. It will still demand 2 cards.
I guess that is probably the consideration.
Okay.
It will demand the cards anyway, so he's thinking I can just save this tiger for next turn.
Oh, I don't know. Do you think we missed something here? It seemed like he decides to arsenal 1 tiger. Erika makes a rune chant.
With the grasp coming for 3 and 1 rune chant. So that is also 4 damage, and it's split. Like it's going to take at least 2 cards to properly prevent it, because 1 needs to be pitched and the other needs to be blocking. Jesper could opt to take the 1 rune chant in this case if he has a hand that he thinks he can finish Erika off with.
Yeah, it makes sense. He has to come through with 1 damage.
Yes. So he takes the rune chant, goes down to 1 himself, blocks for 3, and now it is up to Jesper to use those last 4 remaining cards to try and close out the game.
Yeah, and it seems like he decided to save his tiger from last turn so that he had a safe way to for whatever combo card he has that needs a tiger to start with. And of course, yeah, that's true. They also is tiger for 1 has to be blocked. Chase tail for 4.
Exactly, so this is most like, there we go. Rika gives the good game. It's impossible to block that many attacks,
No.
Even if they only deal 1 damage. But if 1 damage is lethal, then lethal it is.
I must say, I did not expect this. It looked so good for Erika long way through the game. We came into the game like at the midway point, I guess. So we did miss the first card that were gone.
Yes, but we saw Jesper stay very level-headed, taking that 1 power turn to even up the life totals, and then eventually barely just eking out that win. But that is how it often goes.
Yeah, and the Zen State made so much work because it prevented, I think it prevented 2 damage the turn it came out, and that's okay. But the real issue for Erika was that the turn after that, there was no way she's getting through with rune chants. Like every break point doesn't matter, so it makes things so much tougher for her.
Yes, a very good job done by Jesper in leveraging Zen's strength and leveraging that Zen State token to exactly buy them to victory.
Yeah, well played.
All right, so for the time being, I am still here with Konrad, not Peter. We will get that fixed. This means that with this game out, we're going to go back to a small break. We should have our next round coming up soon. And when we see that next round, you are probably going to see Peter back here instead of me. So you will have Peter and Konrad casting your next game. Not entirely sure yet what it is going to be, but the playing field is definitely narrowing as we get towards the later rounds of the game. Any specific hero you're hoping to see, Konrad?
I mean, I think we are pretty comfortable which ones are the main villains of this meta. And you might help me out here. There has been a Enigma stream, there has been the Viscera Zen, but you had an Usuri last round, and that's kind of a dark horse.
And we had a Kaio and Victor.
Kaio and Victor as well. Well, that's something. So if I want, can I make a wish for anything?
Yeah, whatever you would like to see.
Uh,
I don't know if we can make it happen, but
we can try. No, but if I were to wish for anything, I would like to see a Levaya, because it's. I don't know if you're a brute player yourself, but I don't
Mhm.
think you've dabbled that much into Levaya, have you?
No, I am more of a Reinar player, a little bit of Kaio.
No, I mean, what makes Levaya so special is that you feel very alive playing Levaya and playing against Levaya, because she can present insane numbers, and she can also just blow up for no apparent reason.
Yes, you are definitely correct. Well, stay tuned, and hopefully we will get Conrad's wish, and we might be able to see a Levaya, or it could be something completely different. We're
We'll
going to
find
go to ads, and we will be back shortly.
Yeah. Thank you.
back, everybody. We're here in which round, Conrad?
Round number 5.
Number 5. How many rounds are the people playing today?
We will play 7 rounds of Swiss, and then there's a top 8.
Okay, so we're almost at the end, people. This is
Mhm.
very exciting. Is there any hero or player you're particularly rooting for, except yourself?
Yeah, I was about to say I'm glad to hear, but I'm actually not, because I told you guys before that I would love to be a part of the casting this event, but I want to play mainly.
Yeah.
But I promise you, if I crash and burn, I will join you. And here I am. So no one has to ask me how my day was
Okay.
up until now.
Yeah, but you
But
know.
I'm still having great fun being here, so it's all good.
That's awesome.
And I told Boyd just at the end of last round, I really wish to say Elvaya.
Yes.
But I'm not sure, but I'm afraid that the Levias have been
Not in the top bracket,
not top
perhaps.
contention at this point.
Oh well, it's a very tricky deck to play, and very the Levia players I've talked with said like the meta is not there right now.
It is rough. You have to basically don't block at all and just hope you have present better numbers. There are many plans involving not using always using scab skins as boots and gamblers gloves as the arm piece, and just try to re-roll until you get enough action points to win the game.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
Yeah, it's all gas, no brakes, and it's really it's exciting. You do feel alive, but it can be rough against all
so
those
it's
room
like
blades.
going to the casino and
Yeah, you go for it.
all right,
But
let's jump to the game.
Yeah, and this is actually not a rematch. It's other players, but it's the same matchup as we saw
Yeah.
last round.
How
And
did last round go?
It was a really exciting game. I think both players ended up on. I think the life totals were 1-0 at the end of the game.
That is a good game, and we see that was some awesome looking sleeves on Marcus' side.
Yeah,
The names are wrong, so just give
we
me
gotta
a
get this
second
fixed,
and
but
I will
it's-
fix it.
Marcus is our Zen player, and Italo is our Roomblade player. And I can already say Italo's playing with really badass sleeves and a beautiful hero portrait.
I love that.
It looks really good.
The anime Viscerai, it is so clean.
But we could say last round, it actually, when we got into the game, I think our Erika, who was our Roomblade player at that game, she had a 10 life point lead. But Jesper kept his composure and actually managed to claw back into the game.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, really well played. He managed to cling on with the help of Send State tokens, nullifying a couple of Rune Chant tokens and ignoring breakpoints so that Erika couldn't present enough damage to get the last 2 points of damage.
Also, he actually managed to win?
Yeah, he won.
Wow, that's awesome. And Erika is a huge feat to beat. The
Absolutely.
girl on fire, my lovingly friend called her back in the day. And
yeah, and it makes a lot more sense now because she just took down a battle Hardened
with
Blaze.
He was from the future. We just didn't know yet. So let's see. I must be saying I'm rooting for the Viscerai. A lot of players have been trying to tech for this matchup as it was extremely rough for Viscerai when they were not prepared for it. Because the Send State token is just like I often complain to my friends when they play Warmongers against me. I just lose a turn. What a broken card.
Yep.
And Send State is you lose two
Two
turns.
yeah.
Holy moly. And here we see quite an aggressive start for Marcus. He's not afraid of letting Italo mulligan his hand. Managed to leak 1 damage through, and let's see. If the last card is a chi, this is a really strong start.
But do you think it can be a legit strategy to just throw everything at Viscerai, hoping so that she has to block with everything he has, and maybe draw a infamous Roomblade hand with 4 bricks?
That might be a strategy, but I don't think it's like you should attack because you want to change your hand, not in hoping that the opponent's hands change because they might have a brick and you unbrick them if you attack.
Yeah, you have to use your Jedi mind tricks to find out, I guess, before you make your decision.
So I've been looking around, and I think Italo might be on a slightly slower list of Viscerai as he played the defense reaction, which is not typically common. I've seen some players like to use it because it's just a good card. Ooh, and here we see a traditional grasp Mordetide into become the Arc Knight, and I think he's going to discard an attack and get non-attack. Oh, damn. It's like I played a deck or something.
Yeah.
So he's probably trying to set up a little here. This is a little scary because you Sen can just present really good numbers, and if he gets a really good Sen state, it's so hard to win.
But since you're an expert Ruby player yourself, you are an expert. You just took down a PQ with it.
Oh, that's true. It was actually here in this very location.
Yeah. So please walk us through, what do you have to do as a rune blade to get through Sen's defenses?
Okay, so the first step is you have to play cleanly. Remember all your triggers, and you can actually try to set up slowly. But then you have to be prepared with the come to slaughter, because if he doesn't have natural chi in his hand, he can't use the helmet to get the value. Oof! Ding 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 ding! Here we see an extremely beautiful turn from Itaru, getting max value from the Mordetide and setting up. But this might be dangerous for him because he now Sen gets to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's true. But on the other hand, I don't think Marcus hasn't transcended yet.
No.
There is a chance that he hasn't found a chi yet. He hasn't seen that many cards because he used all in his starting hand. He arsenaled one and used the rest, and now he didn't get to block anything.
Yeah. So he's only seen like 7 cards. So the thing is that there are like 2 ways to like take Viscerai. I try to go for the more aggressive approach, where I play Disruption and try to disrupt him and get value. But you also might see what Italo is trying to do here, is trying to like play the tempo and build up a huge turn and get value. So here we see after damage in Link Step, 2 chis to not lose the damage, but still manage to get the double chi. So I think if I'm Italo, I'm actually very happy to see 2 chis goes now, because the odds that he natural draws another chi is so much lower now.
Yes. And I mean, if to me this seems like Italy probably will get his worth out of his 13 rune chance that he has in play, because it would be, unless Marcus in some mystical way managed to draw another 2 transcend cards, he probably won't. He won't have opportunity to use to make a send state with his Kasaya.
Yes. So we might be in like a weird stalemate here, where Marcus might IP himself to keep the chi in hand, to keep Italo from attacking. Because here's the problem: you can't condemn if he has the chi in hand, and
true.
then he gets the full value. And if I'm Marcus, I might consider that I want to do that. And here we see the rare footage of 100 wins actually having text, which is quite cool.
And how commonly used is the Condemned to Slaughter?
It started people being not playing that much, but I've seen lists going up to like 3 blues or 3 reds or something. It's a good card which has a lot of text in this current meta. There are a lot of auras that you don't want to deal with, and but you have to play Viscerai with more blues, because I've heard of Viscerai that plays like mono red, and they can't really use the card to its full potential.
And how cheap would you say the inclusion is? So cheap per se
to include it? Yeah. I think the blue one makes a lot of sense. There's a card that I see Italo is playing. That's the blue become the Arc Knight. I personally don't prefer that card. For me, it was pretty easy swap between those 2 cards, because the 4 attack is just 1 more than the weapon, and it doesn't do anything special.
It is an attack so that it can make rune chance, and it can still prevent some kind of brick, I guess. But I know where you're getting at. It's not that awesome.
Yeah, it it has a function because Visra, you want to have both. Okay, so here Italo is very happy to see the other Chi is going because he's keeping their entire hand and he's ready to party. So I'm uncertain if this might be right by Marcus because he got 3 damage. No, he used the last card as well. So he's doing quite a lot of damage, but he's now saying that I'm willing to take 13 damage for this damage. That was the word damage a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, if I were Italo at that point, I would be somewhat afraid of the last card in Arsenal being a Warmongers. It could be a brutal chain ender, but I figure if it would have been a Warmongers, we probably would have seen it last turn.
Yes, I agree. Now, sacrifice, one enchant, make the roar, and here's the ninth blade. Boom!
So 9 plus 15.
Yes, the new card, Piano Man, only gives you 2 if you don't have the Viscera ability, but still 2 may go again. Sounds very good. I see like hand movement, so I think he just took it all because he doesn't have AB.
Oh my god, that's right. I didn't see that.
Yeah, no,
he has no AB at all.
The Sen players, they're here for a good time, not for a long time, so they don't bring AB for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the point. It's not efficient keeping on pitching for AB. You want to present a lot of damage, and I'm not familiar with the Sen versus.
I think the statement is that if the game goes long, you can beat me.
Yep.
But if the game goes short, I can beat you.
Yeah.
So they're like declaring that they want to beat. Oh no, this might be horrible. I think he forgot his trigger.
I think he did.
Yep. If he calls a judge now, he should be allowed to get it. But he oh no. So for all your audience right there, he must have verbally announced the trigger, but wanted to save time and do it. It's a little sloppy for my taste. You should do it step by step.
It makes sense,
but it's a communication game. So if he tells Italo, I'll go and get it, and Italo says that's okay, that's perfectly fine. You might get a little slap on the wrist if a judge is watching, but not here.
Yeah, but I mean, in the spirit of. In spirit of a good game, I can see Italy just letting him fetch the chi, but if you want to be hardcore, actually the trigger is actually lost by then. You can't resolve it because you already passed your chance of finding the chi there.
Yeah, the thing is that the rules have changed quite a bit. So I think it's looking for intent a lot. So it will try to. It will try to like justify if the player said, "Oh, judge, this is what I meant to do." They might just put the trigger back on the stack, and there might be ability to rewind. They try to make the game as good as possible.
It makes sense,
and I also prefer it that way.
Yeah.
I rather if when I'm playing, I rather win because I played well or drew well, not because I saw an angle to get my opponent.
Absolutely. But we can see now that the life totals are 25 to 29 and I think Italy has presented 1 attack so far.
Yes, it was the 9th blade plus a lot of rune chants.
So he took 15 and blocked 9.
So this is very interesting. I thought if I was Marcus that I want to block with the Kasaya and use the chi to get the token. You take 1 less damage from the 9th blade, and you also have the very nice buffer, but he has other plans. No, I'm by no means a very good Sen player, so there might be lines I'm not seeing right now.
But I mean, there is the insane high potential of using Kasaya at the right moment, and if he at this point Marcus has understood that Italo's deck functions a bit differently than most other Viserais, because it seems like he wants to build up a huge amount of rune chants.
Yeah.
And that would mean he might have a good opportunity to use the Kasaya and prevent like 15 damage, for example. But last turn, it's important to note that the rune chant comes first, so
Yes.
there's no way to block with a helmet Yetishi and an activated Kesaya,
Yeah.
because by then the rune chant has already done their job, so they're
Yeah.
gone. But
That-
next time he might be able to do something like that.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking he might wanted to hold the chi, because then he can do it in response to him attacking with the knife
Yeah,
blade. And then you're kind of like in this stalemate where you have to keep one card in hand, but you can still do cool things with 3 cards, and Italo can't really attack. So I'm uncertain if this was the correct line, but we'll see what the players managed to cook up with. So here comes the big tiger for 4.
And it seems Italy is content to take a lot of damage here.
Yeah, he.
I would have imagined. There's the
Oh.
chain ender we were looking for before.
So here is the punish for Italo's patience. And this is the hard part of being Viscerai. You have very powerful deck, but you're also very vulnerable to silver bullets like Warmonger's Diplomacy. It's a shame we didn't know what Italo said, but I can't believe it's peace when he took all the damage.
Unless it's just he has so many build-up cards in hand, but I can see like a rune flash.
Yeah, it's a
one.
blue rune flash.
Yeah.
No, it was a red one actually.
Yeah. It's
So there's the condemned we talked about.
Yeah, so this is a 1 rune chant 4 attack go again.
Yeah.
And it's an okay rate, but it's not where you want to be after taking all that damage.
It's like Sen has 1 for 4s, and you
Mm.
have 2 for 4s with go again.
Yeah.
So you look like you're getting scammed. You're overpaying for the same product.
Yeah, like you might chase the tail or rune flash.
Yeah,
I mean, the
I
rate.
wonder who's better.
Yeah. So Marcus takes the rune chant, blocks 1 with his boots, taking 3 damage.
Oh no! Activate Tunic to send 6.
Ah,
Oof, this is rough for Italo.
it seems like he pitched a Malefic Incantation, right?
Yeah, so he had a really pretty good turn here with you could go Malefic, use Tunic to get play the Condemn, or Arsenal the Condemned, and then go 4 into 6 and still get 2 to 3 rune chance. So now you took 10 or no 14 damage and presented 10, which is usually not the greatest math, but Italo still has his full equipment suit.
Yeah, that's something.
And he can also be able to steal some tempo with the very nice Face Purgatory. The correct use of that card can make or break a game.
It can be tricky in this matchup, though. But I mean, do you think Marcus is running any big attacks? What would it be? Last round we saw CNC, for example.
Yeah.
But which other ones are there?
The thing is that you are happy, even if let's see, you use it and you just block an attack for 4.
Yeah.
You're technically blocking an attack for 7 or 8 by making if your opponent discards a real card and not a tiger.
Yeah, that's true.
So you get value, and you can also use it to fix your hand.
Yep.
So here you see the mighty 0 tiger. It is feared by all.
Yeah. Let's see if Italy decides to block this. Nah, he didn't.
Blue Pulse Ichi. It's
Coming
fun
in.
to see the new Sendex with the cards they added instead of bonds.
Yeah, they got rid of a lot of cards when they lost Art of War. They had to consider a couple of inclusions, and pouncing. That's one is called Pouncing's Key, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It gets +1 and go again if Crouching Tiger was the last card. And it also gets +1 by the Tiger Shuko, so it's actually a 3 with go again. In the Runeblade, you have to pay 3 for that crazy card. Let us see. Here's an activation of Sen, and what card do you think he's going to get?
Let's see. Does he have the tiger? He gets a tiger now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 1 tiger in hand. The other tiger was from the boots.
I'm a simple man. I would imagine chase the tail.
But then he needs 1 more tiger.
No, he would have had 1 tiger. Yeah, the card before has to be tiger as well.
Yes,
yeah,
there's
that's
tiger
right.
tiger
So
behind, and then tiger whatever you want in front.
And he has 1 card left in hand.
No, I think he has 3 or 4 with the tiger. So he pitched a Chi because he transcended. Yeah, so it's 100 wins. Makes sense.
He might have the nuts as well if he has like Chase the Tail and Aspect of Tiger, perhaps.
Oh, if he has it in hand, that
Could
would be
be.
crazy.
Because it would make sense because he need a red attack then before Aspect.
Yeah.
So he can go 100 wins, Aspect, Chase the Tail, Tiger, Chase the Tail,
Yes.
Tiger.
And since Aspect only puts it in Banish, you don't want to have Aspect into Aspect because then you have one Tiger you can't use on anything. It doesn't go into hand.
Ah, there we go.
It's
Bittering
Bittering Thorns. That's a really sweet new card. Or it's not new, but it's new, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a new inclusion.
Yeah.
It's a really good one. A lot of value. 1 for 5 go again, pretty much.
Yeah. And Sen is also desperately lacking on hit, so getting a little on it goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing we talked about, that Italo might consider using Face Purgatory, but the problem is that he has a Tiger in hand. So I think it's better just to block the 4, don't give him the value.
Yeah, and he decides to use his Spellbound Creepers as a $100 Iron Rot boots.
Sometimes they are.
Yeah.
What I love about the new Visceroid list is that you're so less reliant on creepers that the old list used to be.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is a rough turn for Italo. I think now Marcus doesn't have any cards in hand, so I think you just wanna give it up. I see he has a Sonata Galaxias, which you really want to keep.
It might. I think he has Mortar Tide and Sonata, if I'm not mistaken. So that would mean if he takes this, he can play Sonata for 0 to get a Malefic, and then say the Mortar Tide for last turn.
Yes.
I think that might.
But
be
then
the
you have
play.
to take 7 damage down to 8.
Yep.
There might be a consideration to use the grass pair to reserve.
Yeah, maybe so that he can get. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
You meant so that he can get 2 block out of it now
Yes,
and 1. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
one next turn, because most likely there's no on hits.
No, probably not. We saw last round we saw the same player use Command and Conquer, but pretty much that's it.
Yeah.
Apart from like Tiger Swipes and Bittering Thorns that are technical on hits, but it's not in the same league as something disruptive.
That's true. So I think Italo is playing to win and not playing not to lose, because this is the turn that gives him the highest potential to win.
Yeah.
If the Sen player has a weak turn now and no Chi, this is going to be really dangerous for him.
I think so. Do you think he would? Well, I mean, if he. Well, step 1, there can't be warmongers.
Yes.
That is very important.
Then you lose.
Yeah, that is very important. But there is also, he has at least 5 equipment block.
Yes.
Maybe 6 if for some reason Marcus would decide to break the combat chain so that Italo could use Grasp twice, but that won't happen.
No, I don't think so. But here we see Italo drawing a little awkward. I think there's 2 defense reactions, and one of them is the Make a Rune Chant, which he is sorely lacking right now. Oh, there was a scary Chi. So,
but that has got to be in. He has more Chi in hand, right?
Yeah, he played really slowly. So that's either you're trying to bait your opponent to thinking you're a weak hand, or it might be a tricky hand. So here, I think Italo is just going to take the 2. He's saving the equipment for the very last second. Ooh.
Levels.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's another Chi. It transcends, getting a resource.
And he's probably going to activate Sen in response. There might have been, as I talked to Tilira earlier, that he chose not to use the Kasaya, and he has gotten a lot of value out of it. So it might have been the correct play just because he thinks, I need the value, I can't pop it right now.
Yeah, he has got a lot of resources, and if he would have used it at that point, it's not certain. Let's say he would have had 15 more life, because that's how many rune chants Italo had at the most.
Yes.
And he would have been in a very good spot. But at this point, he's at the healthy life totals, and Italo has to be worried that whenever he decides that I have to go now, a single Chi in Marcus' hand would destroy his turn.
Yeah, and he's shuffling a lot of the Chi back into the deck, so there might be coming right up.
Yeah, and that's great thing with having with Chi in Sen's deck, because since you do all that searching, you don't have this awful stack of she cards at the bottom of your library.
Yeah.
You will see them earlier. There, at least you will have a chance of seeing them earlier.
So-
It makes a lot of difference. For example, if you're playing new and you have like 5 or 6 she at the bottom of your library, it's not that awesome.
Oh.
The other way around.
Yeah. You can use the ability multiple times, but it's not like what you want to do.
No, it's not like this.
So Italo decided to block.
Yeah.
So I think he is going to block with the rest of his hand this turn. Right? I think the path to victory for Italo is wait, try to catch a weak turn and go as low as physically possible. Pray there is no warmongers and just pop off with the Mordred.
Yep.
Another defense reaction.
Yeah, but I guess seemed like a good time for him to draw those double D reacts.
Yeah. Tiger for 0. Meow.
No, for 1, I think. Shouldn't the shoot? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% correct. There was not there. So here we see the problem of not using the equipment, because here would have been very nice to just block cleanly for 1.
Mm.
So this is for 4, and it has an on it, but it's not really matters.
Would get tigers, but it's not. I wouldn't be very afraid of those tigers at this
No,
point.
he has no pump to
No.
make the tigers bigger, so they're just like for fun, and you throw them at the opponent, having a good time.
But it seems awkward for Hitler, because at this point I think he blocks for 4 to prevent another tiger. He's
Still had a card to Arsenal. That's crazy.
Yeah, but and he's. I'm afraid that next turn won't be easier for Italo either, because there will be pokes like this. I think he took 5 damage in total this turn, right?
Yeah, he was at 8. He took
4 damage, and blocked with equipment.
Oh.
He used 3 cards, and now he just pitched a 9th blade to make a rune chant.
Yes. Well, now he draw the D-React. That's now free.
Mhm.
Heads up play. But the problem is that every card you block with, and the beatings doesn't stop.
No.
So this is like the problem, as you identified, Conrad, that he's just stuck in the vortex and he can't get out.
Yeah, he would have wanted these hand like 10 life before.
Yes.
Something like that. But things just didn't line up for him.
Yeah, no, I think it was correct to get the Malefic and the Murder the Arsenal, but
Yep.
the hand he drew up was not strong enough
No,
to just block with equipment.
Yeah. He needed a very good hand back at that point. He needed Marcus to not have a good hand. He needed Marcus to not draw a she. So many things had to go right at that point, and it seems like none of them did, unfortunately, for Italo's sake.
Yeah, this is the problem when you're playing Viscera, and you don't play the disruption package, because then Sen just gets to do whatever he wants, and when your hero power is get whatever card you want from your deck, that's a pretty good power, I would say.
Yeah, and this is interesting to me, because I grew up with like OG Sen.
Yeah.
And by grew up I mean this summer during Nats. Sen had Bonds and Art of War.
It was crazy.
An insane deck. It was really, really hard. It could be beat, but it was obviously the very, very best deck of the format.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see now, like half a year later, it's still a top contender, has the same very powerful hero power, uses a lot of a lot of great cards, but it's in a different shell still. And it's we have seen this game, there is so much value coming out of Sen each turn.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And I don't think Marcus has drawn the nuts. It's just that there are so many good lines that presents themselves. The tutoring part of the Sen hero power does so much.
This is a very interesting card. He's playing Blessing of the Occult.
Mm.
So yeah, so Italo is playing more of like oh yeah, it's for 4.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's a 4.
I was like, so Italo is playing more of a turtle burst style of deck, as it's lovingly called.
Is there one card left in Marcus' hand?
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's
So
another
many
one.
D-reacts. Bittering Thorns. The problem is he still has one delicious floating for the last card.
Yeah, oh my god, I forgot that one. A small key as well. No.
Yeah, so he doesn't
Oh,
care
that's
about
rough.
it's still 1 for 5.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have the on it, but here is the problem. He blocks, he blocks, he blocks. And now he still has to block with one more card and he's leaking 2 damage.
Yeah.
And that was with double defense reaction.
Yeah.
And now there even if Sen draws all blues, you still have to give him cards.
Because there are at least 2+1 from the Tiger Stick. What's his face?
Yeah.
Not Shuku. Whatever Sen's weapon is called. He's coming yeah, something Tiger Stick. He's coming in with that, and because of Sen Hero Power, he also gets another Tiger coming in for at least 1, and that's like that will happen every turn. He has a She, at least that.
Yeah, and he can also just draw Ninja cards.
Yeah, and the things are way worse. So 2+4, Italy has to block everything, leaking 1.
Yeah, so interesting he didn't use the last point of defense on Grass Pair to cover it up. There's a Mauling Key, 4/5. Yep. So I think Italo played very well. I think he gave himself an opportunity to win, but the deck didn't cooperate with him.
No, it seemed like both players has played very well, but it seems like that things did not line up for Italy as he would have wanted them to.
Yes, and that's also the problem. There's also this problem when you're running defense reactions, since he got them later and not earlier.
Yep.
He needed them before, as you said, to get the value from this Murder Tide. So I think I mean, is there a hand Marcus can draw that literally gives Italo a chance? Is it CNC, red without Gogan, red without Gogan?
Still tough. There will always be Tiger Stick.
Yes.
That's one card. Okay. With that pitch,
yeah, I mean,
things feel rough.
It would have. This would have been the turn Italo was looking for when he had more life, because he only gets +1 from the blue card, and he didn't transcend, so he doesn't get the resource.
Yeah, and it's not like the pouncing key is alright, but it's not the best card.
Yeah, it's still a 0 for 4, so it's good. But it's like Tiger for 1. He is much less scary than Tiger for 4 or 3. Oh, so he had double Chi in hand.
Yeah. So he has to block this with a card, and then there is a Tiger for
1?
2? No, yeah, 2.
Only 1.
Shouldn't it be for the?
Oh yeah, it's 2. Yeah, you're correct.
And the next one will be for 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Where he makes another Tiger, and that's also going to get +1. So I think this might be the lights out for.
And there's on-hit death. The usual one. Yeah.
There's the fist bump.
Very well played.
Yeah, the deck is still good, man.
Yeah,
it's still good. Still got
like it. Where would you think where was the turning point of this game? I don't know. Turning point, it might be the wrong expression, because it felt like Marcus.
He was in the driver's seat the entire game.
Yeah, he could. But I felt like there might have been some turns where Italo could have swung back. Still, things would have needed to go right for him.
Yeah, here I see some of the sideboard cards Italo got, but he didn't draw them. Like Succumb is a very nice card, and Snuff Out forces some action. I think there's a different timeline where Marcus keeps the Chi in hand, and I don't know how that game plays out. It might be very different, but I think the turn where Italo got the Murder Tide into sideboard, he needed a hand that could threaten 15.
Yep.
And
probably.
If he had gotten, there might have been some possibility to win, but he didn't draw enough offensive, and Marcus just could present a lot of damage and drew well, played well. So it was like, it was hard. I think it's hard to like tell exactly where the turning point is. There might have been an opportunity where Italo also took 10 damage. No, 14 damage on the Warmonger's turn. And that also
Yeah, that
changed
was a
a
big
lot.
one. Yeah, that's really good Warmongers.
Yeah, if the Warmongers didn't happen there, then Italo could have been more aggressive. Since Italo has more defensive, I think maybe he should have tried to play blocking much more. Just try to set up, block, block.
Yep.
And because Marcus doesn't have AB, and if you could like try to catch him when he doesn't have the natural chi in hand, you could just do a lot of damage.
Yeah, but that seems it might be the right call, but it seems very scary as well to just hope for building everything up for this one turn when he can't have she, or else
or else you lose.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's
But I'm not a Visceral player myself, and I have to ask Italo later what he's thinking about the ratios, because to me it seems like there could be a risk of clogging up the deck even more, because usual Visceral Runeblade hands could be an issue where you draw only the wrong part of your deck. So that, for example, you draw all non-attacks or only attacks, and your deck does pretty much nothing. If you add defense reactions to that, there might be an even bigger risk of getting bad hands.
Yeah, that's for sure a scary problem when you're doing it. I think Italo also doesn't play Sonata Arcanix, and then you don't need the perfect ratio anymore. I think he plays slightly more non-attacks because he's playing more of the build-up and burst style of Viscerai.
Makes sense.
And then defense reaction, it doesn't ruin your ratio too much, but when you're still kind of an aggro deck, and when you're fighting another aggro deck, there you see the problem of being like even on offensive and defensive.
Yeah, makes sense. And I guess if you are planning on turtling and building up your rune chance anyway, Warmongers might not be the biggest issue that you have to face.
Yeah.
So yeah, makes sense.
There's our good friend Italo showed. Italo showed he was sad, and our other friend was plugging off. So that's very lovely to see. Is there anything more you want to talk about the match? I think it was a good match. I think it shows the power of Sen and the problem Viscerai might have because of you're doing like half and half.
Yeah, but it's interesting because now we have had 2 rounds of Sen versus Viscerai, and Sen coming out on top in both games. Even though the Viscerai builds has been quite different.
Yeah.
To me, it has seemed like Sen is consistent enough to keep putting out some kind of damage, presenting breakpoints, finding good cards from his deck over and over. And while in the last round, the Sen decided to he had AB.
Yeah.
But also got to claw back from a very dire situation using the Sen state. So really made a good use of his resources. And in this game, it seemed like since Marcus, our Sen player, were in the driver's seat all the time, he didn't even have to use his Kasaya.
Yeah, he was like, he had it locked, put it in the safe, save it for a rainy day. Yeah. And so here you see the difference, because if Marcus, since Marcus didn't have AB, he could never claw back.
No.
So he had to be in the driver's seat the entire turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if he gets like Sen has some brick hands because he has to play blues. So if Italo had gotten more breathing room, there might be a possibility of coming back and then staying ahead.
Yeah, maybe.
But it was like, as you said, not crazy. He didn't draw the Sacred Art and a lot of Tiger, but still just good Sen with his hero power.
Absolutely, but there were no bricks, but no dead hands. But he did draw decent, not overwhelmingly awesome.
Yeah, and then one clutch Warmongers.
Yeah,
gave him so much tempo.
So much value. It's such a great card in the right situation.
I hate that card.
It's very, very useful.
I think we have to wrap it up for now.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen and everyone, thank you so much for watching. There are still 2 more rounds to be had, and we will be back shortly. So stay tuned.